Welcome to Quantum Movement Daily Mobility and Self-Release Series. In the previous videos, you watched us do a couple of exercises that helped lengthen the muscles that are responsible for the rotation of our hips. So in this next video, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over how to articulate and really strengthen some of those ranges that we've been able to access and get into. So what you want to do is you want to first go back into your 90-90 position. However, we're going to change it up a little bit and we're going to go into a modified 90-90 called a hip up position or a shin up position. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and bring that 90 degrees, close it into about 45 where we get that heel to quad connection. From that heel to quad connection, all you want to do is keep a nice neutral posture, and you want to go ahead and lean forward to create a nice stretch in that glute complex, right? And using that stretch and that tension, all you want to do is you want to drive this shin into the ground, come all the way up, and you want to get full hip extension where you can squeeze and contract those glutes and drive that head to the ceiling. Once you get to that end position, all you want to do is you want to go ahead and flex the hip again, and control that descent. Just gently touch that glute back to the floor. From this position, I'm gonna posture back up, externally rotate my back hip, trail it with internal rotation from my front hip. So when I come back to the other side, I can go back into my hip up position where I find that tension in my glute. I drive my shin into the floor. I get full extension, driving my head to the ceiling. Controlling my hip back into flexion. Nice controlled touch, open, trail, back into my hip up position, and driving back up. Now, there's gonna be a lot of us that aren't gonna be able to access this position. So a lot of us are gonna have a hard time, again, just managing our posture on top of our hip. So it's okay to put your hand on the floor to give yourself a little bit more of that neutral posture. And then from here, if it's very difficult, if you find yourself not being able to access that position because it's tight and it's weak, go ahead and put your hand back on that ground, and all you have to do is extend your hip forward and lift your chest up and create more of a lateral flexion here. Come back down, put the other hand behind you, sit back a little bit, give your hips some space and articulate that joint. Come back here, again, keeping that hand on the ground, framing into the ground, driving my hips forward and creating a lateral flexion bend. Come back down and sit, hand behind you, lean back, give space to the hips to turn and articulate, and come back into this position. Ideally, you want to do this for about 3 sets for 10 repetitions. 1 and 1 counts as 1, so technically total 20 repetitions.